Sarvam idam vijnatam bhavati. Observe that word sarvam. It sits somewhere there. Don't write. Kasmin no bhagavo vijnate. Sarvam idam vijnatam bhavati. This is, I think I can use that word, the audacity of the Indian votary of knowledge. We don't believe in 35%, 60%, first time for Karnataka, second time for Andhra Pradesh. We never believed. That was not traditional Indian system. Vivekananda would grasp the whole of what Encyclopedia Britannica would contain, having about 2,500 pages in 10 minutes, and would ask his disciple to ask any question he wanted. He asked him several questions. Swamiji produced the answer verbatim. Xerox copy he produced. In all the 10 volumes he had on his table, Encyclopedia Britannica. Broken-hearted Shishya Sharat Chandra Gupta asked, "Sir, how is it? How is it? Fool, you asked this question. In ancient education system, every student had this ability. Only today you have lost it." Quite understandable. Because here we have the glaring example of student in Mundakopanishad coming and asking the teacher, "Kasminu bhagavo vijnate, sarvamidam vijnatam bhavati." Sir, is there anything by knowing which I can know? Guru says, yes. Dve vidye veditavye, parat, aparatcha. There are two branches of knowledge, which once you know, you have known everything. Paravidya and aparavidya. These are two branches of one knowledge. If you know these two, we have known everything. Paravidya means knowing the knower. Today's quantum physics is knocking at the door of this. Eddington, a great astrophysicist from England, from Cambridge, in BBC interview says, the final knowledge will always come by studying the knower that is trying to know the things outside. Knowing about the knower is the final phase of any knowledge. That is Paravidya. Paravidya deals with the subject that studies the objective world. And everything pertaining to objective world is Aparavidya, lower science. Anyone can know astrophysics, anyone can know stellar world, anyone can know this, that, galaxy, so on and so forth in the world outside, including your own physiology. Anyone that is perceivable, knowledge pertaining to anything perceivable is lower knowledge according to Indians. And the perceiver, the knower, he is so evasive. You cannot study knower as easily as you can study the known or the knowable. Very easy to study this, but my eye sees it. My ear hears its vibration. My hand touches it. It's very easy to study that. How to know the knower, whom I can't see either, whom I can't hear the vibrations of, whom I can't touch and grasp its surface. It's so evasive. He can never be the subject of my knowledge, but still I should study it. But Indians knew that too and categorized it as something superior to all other knowledges, and they called it as higher knowledge, Paravidya. Dve vidye veditavye, parat aparatcha. Vedanta means knowing the knower. Adhyatma means knowing the knower. Krishna puts it clearly in Bhagavad Gita. I am Adhyatma Vidya among all Vidyas. Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam. Among all Vidyas, I am Adhyatma Vidya. This is how Indian philosophy down the ages has come to us. Marvelous thing, wonderful thing. T.S. Eliot, professor that worked in Harvard University, Nobel laureate, who was given Nobel Prize for his novel, I think, The Wasteland. Disciple of William James, the greatest of modern psychologists, who in turn was an ardent disciple of Swami Vivekananda. William James attended every lecture Vivekananda delivered in the East Coast, Harvard and around, Boston, New York and around. His disciple was T.S. Eliot. William James was a man of high level, like Carl Jung and all that, a psychologist. This T.S. Eliot says, before the subtleties of Indian philosophers, Most of our great European thinkers look like schoolboys. Yeah. And all these things we achieved at least 1,000 years before Buddha. All these things belong to ancient India. Buddha is a man of yesterday. This is India. That's the way Vivekananda said, I am one of the proudest men ever born on this earth, and I trace my pride to my ancestry. My ancestry is the cause of my pride. I am one of the proudest men ever born. He never cared for American intelligentsia, British intelligentsia. He would deal with American intelligentsia as though he was dealing with kindergarten boys, because he had that pride. This is Indian philosophy that deals with the community-centered life. The philosophers of India, of this stature, of this background, they have some views about community-centered life. The real life is community-centered life. If your life is not community-centered, you remember you are preparing for a life and you are not really living already. Just as what Bertrand Russell used to say, we are all candidates to humanity and not humans yet. Russell used to say. So if your life is not already community-centered, you are preparing for a good life. Right now you are not in any life. It's just a preparation. Because you don't know very important secrets of life. You should have an art. You should learn one art. If you really are serious about your life, you must learn one art. What is that life? What is that art? How to live in various bodies simultaneously. I can live in my body. I don't need any certificate training for it. That I have been doing right since my birth. I don't need any other training for it. Instinctively, without being trained in any sense of the term, I can live through my psychophysiological setup, which I call as my body, my being, me. For most of the people, that's all the I. When they use that I, first person singular pronoun, what that means is just psychophysiological system that they bear. Beyond that, nothing. But as you grow up, when you become a bit educated, as you grow up, somehow there comes a situation in your life whereby you need to understand others. You need to communicate with others because you are into public. After your education, invariably you are into public. If not into public, at least you have to deal with your own family members. That is how the seed of community life starts sprouting in your life. If not anyone else, you need to deal with your wife. And wife, she has to deal with her husband. After some time, some children will come. At least with family members you have to deal. If not anyone else. Why do you need a wife? Why a man needs wife? All cannot become sannyasis. Why a man needs a wife? People may say, at least one or two may say, I don't need any wife. But he does need a friend. He needs someone whom he can share his emotions with. Emotions come, so many manifestations of emotions will be there. Love will come. There is a sea of emotion inside, and it tends to be expressed every now and then in its own way. Without that, you cannot be an island. Man cannot be an island. I am feeling loneliness is the refrain somebody will sing now and then. Why that loneliness? Why can't you be alone? Why that loneliness? Remember, worst disease in this world is the feeling of loneliness. That is the worst ever disease. All other diseases perhaps have some medicines, but this is something, the medicine of which is not competent enough to remove this feeling from the inner core. It still remains there. You may try to weaken the effect of that disorder there, but you can never eradicate that. It is that sort of a disease. That is because you cannot live, you have not learned to live through other bodies. It's an art. You must learn to live through other bodies. For that you need a training. Naturally the training comes. For some people the training has to be given. We have to prepare a stage, we have to prepare a conducive atmosphere for the training to take place in case of such people. But every living being by birth has got the training. When you want to live through other bodies, you need a training. That training is called as love, sense of accommodation, absence of ego. All these things almost, all these terminologies can act as synonyms. Can you love someone? Most natural thing for a living being. Why living, even non-living being? Something so natural, even for a non-living being, is love. You know why everything attracts every other thing? We simply put it into Newton's theory of gravitation and say every object in this world attracts every other object with a force equal to the square of its mass, equal to the product of the mass of the two individuals, and inversely proportional to the square of the distance, m1, m2 divided by d square, something of that sort we formulate, and we simply relegate the whole scope of the subject to physics, thinking that as though it is something pertaining to things of inert world. Never. It is also observable, applicable in the inert world, but very much there in the sentient world. In the world where life is the order of the day. So this is how, by having a wife, the man is happy. He will get a wife and he is very happy. Happy as long as it is possible for him to live through her. If he cannot live through her, then it is no happiness. If he can live through her, it's very happy, because now presently we have two bodies to have your experiences. Your joy can be enjoyed through two bodies. And remember, there is, what a wonderful thing, God is so great. If you share your joy, the joy will increase. If you share your sorrow, sorrow will decrease. Share your sorrow, and the intensity of the sorrow decreases. Share your joy, that's what exactly we want. We want to increase our joy, and we want to lessen the intensity of our sorrow, our being sorrowful. That's exactly what we want either. So why don't we share? To share it with someone, you need definitely a person who can understand you, who can feel your pulse, who can sometimes dance to your tune, reluctantly at least. So extend this to all others outside. First, this formula is extended to your wife, your spouse, then to your children. Very easy. As far as this setup is concerned, it's very easy. We can share our lots with your wife, you can share our lots with your children. Next, when the frontiers get extended, you go for friends. In India, it can very easily extend up to your caste. Very easy to extend our frontiers up to our caste. Going beyond caste is somewhat a Herculean task. That's where we have been miserably failing. A great country we are. A sensible man will try to extend these frontiers to include the whole of the humanity. A Buddha-like personality, a Ramakrishna-like personality. This is the rationale, the beauty behind community-centeredness. Who is not yours? Who does not belong to you? Who does not belong to you? Vivekananda was vehement when he told Maharaja of Mysore. You know what did he say? Prince, the vanities of the world are transient, but they alone live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. This is Vivekananda. His words are always like that. You are a custodian of God's property, he told Maharaja of Mysore, Chamarajendra Vadiya. You are a custodian of God's property. Look upon your citizens as your own children. And Maharajas of Mysore, they lived up to that idea. It was a model state. In later years, Mysore became a model state. Of course, with the help of great men like Sir M. Vishweshwaraya, who though worked as Diwan just for 6 years, converted Mysore into the most model state. especially at the time First World War was afoot. So they alone live who live for others. What about others? They are more dead than alive. Vishwatma Bhava. You know, sannyasa is the highest ideal Hinduism has discovered. And everyone is supposed to become sannyasi towards the conclusion of his life. First 25 years, you are a student. Look at the socio-cultural tradition Hinduism has brought about. First 25 years, you are a student. Next 25 years, you are a householder. Next 25 years, preparation for sannyasa, Vanaprastha traditional nimika. And the fourth phase, after 75th year, everyone is supposed to become a sannyasi. You know what is meant by sannyasi? The man who is universal, Vishwamanavata. It is not anything impractical. It was not something of an idiosyncrasy. It was something of a whimsical feeling that crawled up in the mind of someone which later became the law of the land. Nothing of that sort. Everyone is supposed to become a Vishwamanava towards the end of his life. You have to practice it. Next birth, that may become a bit more easy for you to become Vishwamanava in your outlook. Next 4 or 5 births, you become a Buddha-like personality, another 4 or 5 births. It becomes so natural to you that you want to live only for others. Remember, the ultimate consequence of true spirituality is to cut off all ordinary relations, cut off all conventional relations and establish yourself in this universality. Tasya prakriti linasya. About sannyasi, Mahanarayana Upanishad says, Tasya prakriti linasya. You are one with the nature. Air doesn't have a caste. Air doesn't have a nationality, prakriti, nature. Water doesn't have a caste or nationality or language. Fire doesn't have. These are the 5 forces normally whenever we see nature. Prakriti, Panchabhutas are there. Akasha, space, air, water, fire and earth. None of these 5 things has any caste, creed, nationality, language, etc. because they are part of nature. They have that Vishwamanava attitude right in their very innate character, innate structure. Like that man you are supposed to live, you are supposed to show this characteristic. This is Hinduism's order. It's mandate to everyone. A scriptural injunction rather. That's why Vivekananda said, they alone live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. Towards the end of Sri Ramakrishna's life, Ramakrishna summoned Vivekananda. So, favorite disciple, the relation between Vivekananda and Ramakrishna, Narendranath and Ramakrishna, you cannot imagine. The intimacy, the love. Human history has failed to record a likeness of that. So intimate. 2-3 days before his Mahasamadhi, Ramakrishna summoned Narendranath and asked him, Naren, what do you want? Whatever he wanted, he was prepared to give. He knew after a couple of days he would breathe his last. Therefore, he never wanted to leave his disciple, chief disciple, deprived of anything that he otherwise wanted. Deliberately he summoned and deliberately he asked, what do you want? So that Naren will not feel shy of asking anything on his own. He himself is asking, what do you want? Naren will say, please grant me that boon whereby once I sit for meditation means 3-4 days I don't get up. I only get up to have some milk and fruit taken so that again I may steep myself in that meditation. Again 4 or 5 days I become oblivious of all my surroundings, my body consciousness, everything will go. I want to be always remaining in this Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Please grant me that state. Any other guru would have been the happiest man in the world when Shishya said this. Is there any trace of materialism? What sort of desire he has? Highest level a human mind can never pursue, Naren is asking for. And that is the highest state. So saintliness, this incarnation, etc., etc., everything will fall much below that state. One should be a renunciate out and out in the absolute sense. No trace of anything that may suggest any material outlook. Even selfishness is not there. At this request of Narendranath, Ramakrishna becomes very angry. Ramakrishna becomes very angry at this. He never felt any happiness thereby. You know what was the reaction of Sri Ramakrishna? He takes Narendranath to task Fire upon you. That was his reaction. Fire upon you. Fire upon you. I thought you would grow to be a big banyan tree under the shelter of which thousands will take their shelter, under the shadow of which thousands will take their shelter. I thought you would grow to be a big banyan tree, under the shadow of which thousands will take shelter. But now I see you are interested in your own liberation. Selfish fellow. Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Mukti, what is there in that? You want to close your eyes and then see God? Can't you open your eyes and see God? What is there in seeing God with your eyes closed? Anyone can do it. What is there in seeing God with your eyes closed? Anyone can do it. Can't you open your eyes and see God even there? What did Ramakrishna mean? Is there, and Ramakrishna further continues to say, is there anything other than God in the whole creation? Is there anything other than God? Then why do you want to close your eye exclusively for that purpose and then search for God somewhere within your realms of your spirituality or whatever it is? Here, Sri Ramakrishna gives the quintessence of all Vedas and Vedanta, and this is the final word Vedas can ever give out to the humankind in the form of its message. With your eyes you can worship God. With your eyes you can attain to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. With your eyes open. With open eyes you can attain to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. This is how serve everyone as though he is the veritable manifestation of divinity itself. Every human being is a manifestation of divinity. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. Isha has pervaded everywhere. Sarvam. What does it mean? God has pervaded everything is God. Not that there is God in everything. That is very easy. Not that there is God in everything. Everyone is God. According to Vedanta, everyone is that. Unfortunately, neither the man is aware nor the person that sees him is aware of it. Because of our inability to be aware of this beautiful fact, our life's pattern has been taking so many directions, which otherwise it would have been a different thing altogether. So a sensible man will not make any difference at all between man and God even. This is highest spirituality. This is highest spirituality. Of course, even the highest spirituality can become day-to-day practical life provided you know the beauty behind it. This is Karma Yoga after all. It's how many times through our traditions we see instances where this point has been demonstrated. There comes a great character in our mythology, Rantideva. I think he was contemporary of Prahlada. About Rantideva, we study in Bhagavatam. He did a lot of tapasya and God appeared before him. What do you want? God asked. Which God? No details I don't know. God asked, what do you want? You know what was the thing that Rantideva expressed there as a response to the behest of God that what all he wanted? He says, Natvaham kamaye rajyam, na swargam na punarbhavam, kamaye dukkhataptanam praninam artinashna. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, when I saw him for the first time, way back in 1989 in Shimoga, a city called Shimoga in Karnataka, he was, everyone knows his oratorical powers, great orator. For the first time I heard him, first time I saw him. It was during my pre-monastic days. I was not a sannyasi by then. 4 years later, I took sannyas. In the beginning of his talk itself, he said, this has been one motto that has been directing and structuring my life right from my younger days. Vajpayee said, the day I came across this particular sentence from Bhagavatam, an expression from the lips of a great man by name Rantideva, Natvaham kamaye rajyam, I don't want any kingdom. Na swargam, no heaven. Na punarbhavam, don't want to be born in a great family again. Kamaye dukkhataptanam, the sorrow-stricken living beings are there everywhere. Let them be delivered out of their sorrows. Let them come out of their sorrows and live happily. That is all the thing I want. I don't want anything for my personal sake. Even Bhagavan Kapila, when his mother Devahuti asked, as to what would be the highest form of worship according to him. Kapila Maharshi was right incarnation of Lord Vishnu himself. Siddhanam Kapilo Munihi, Bhagavan Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Among Munis, I am Kapila Maharshi. That means to say he was incarnation of Krishna. Athamam Sarveshu Bhuteshu, Bhutatmanam Krutare Mother. I dwell in everybody. I dwell in everybody. Sarveshu Bhuteshu. Athamam Sarveshu Bhuteshu, Bhutatmanam Krutalayam. I have made every human body as my temple. Worship me there. That is going to be the highest worship. Every human body is my greatest temple. My greatest temple is not this, that, or anywhere else. Every human body is my great temple. I dwell there. Worship that you offer me, there I am extremely pleased with. I am more pleased with the worship that you are going to offer there. How to offer the worship? Athamam sarveshu bhuteshu bhutatmanam krutalim arhaye dana manabhyam. Give something in charity. That is the worship form of worship. Give something in charity to the man in whose heart, in whose body I dwell, I reside. Giving something in charity is the form of worship. Not offering flowers or not chanting some shloka or something of that sort. Panchamrita snanam samarpayami. All these things will not be there. That worship is different. Arhayet dana. Give something in charity to that man. Manabhyam. Honor him. When you are giving him some charity, in a spirit of honoring him, you have to do it. Here is £1. Here is $1. Come on, take away. Not in that spirit. In the spirit of honoring him, you give him something that's going to be the highest worship that you can ever occur to me, ever offer to me. Recently, about 100 years ago, about 70 years ago, there took place one international conference in Chicago University. The subject of discussion was 100 years after Darwin. That was the theme of this conference. So many discussions revolved around that. 100 years after Darwin. It was centenary after publication of Darwin's philosophy of evolution. Presided over by none other than grandson of Thomas Huxley, another great biologist, a close associate of Charles Darwin, himself a biologist. Thomas Huxley, Aldous Huxley, they all belong to the same family. That Huxley family is known for its intelligence. Aldous Huxley, you know, Thomas Huxley, so many Huxleys come. Grandson of Thomas Huxley is Julian Huxley, a great biologist working for Cambridge. He presided over, and the deliberations of this conference came out later in a book forum, which I think bears the title, The Uniqueness of Man. That is the title. You know, what was the discussion that ensued there? At the human stage, evolution will not be organic. If students of evolution are here, please observe it. From amoeba to human level, evolution is organic. Your evolution will be revealed out by knowing what sort of body you possess. Your evolution will be revealed out in the sort of the body that you possess. But at the human level, bodily changes will not take place. The worst fellow and the best of men will bear the same body. In India, I am fond of giving one example. There was one great man by the name Veerappan. Have you heard? Huh? People from Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, South Indians, you all might have heard. I normally give the example. Veerappan and Vivekananda physiologically appear one and the same. Bodily they appear one and the same. But what about the inner content? There is no ocean of difference. Why? Because at a human level, evolution is not marked. It is not measured in terms of what sort of body you have got. Then how to measure? What is the parameter that we use at that level? The parameter is your psyche. How much social is your psyche? How much expansive is your psyche? How much large-hearted you are? How much of same-sightedness you can demonstrate in your dealings in the workaday world? How much altruistic you are in your spirit? Altruistic. How much empathetic you are? Can you see your own self in others? Remember, Advaita means seeing your own self in others and also bearing their ups and downs, their vicissitudes. When some fisherman was beaten like anything, Ramakrishna had so much of pain on his back. And he cried. When a fisherman was beaten on the banks of Ganga, Ramakrishna's body got all the pain. And he cried. Because he was at that time in that Advaitic spirit. The sorrow, the joy of any other person could be vividly experienced by him. Vishwamanavata. Ramakrishna gives some description about what all went on when he was in that spirit. All these things ultimately point out to the fact that the highest level of evolution is when your psyche becomes an expansive psyche. Krishna any number of times makes references in Bhagavad Gita. Atmopamyena sarvatra. When you can see your Atma sarvatra, samam pashyati. Equally, just as you see yourself in your own body, if you can see yourself in all other bodies, Atmopamyena sarvatra, samam pashyati Arjuna, sukham va yadiva dukkham. In moments of joy, moments of sorrow, can you see your own self in other bodies? Sukham va yadiva dukkham. Sa yogi paramomataha. He is a yogi of highest order. This is the practical side of Vedanta. Practical side. Nowhere else you can see a man who is more relevant. They are the salt of the earth. It is such people that are the salt of the earth, who can love everyone without any discrimination, who can see themselves everywhere in all living beings. This is community oriented. A bit of this is community oriented service. Community oriented life. Community oriented life. For your own sake. Why should you be community oriented? Gentlemen, thereby you are going to affect an acceleration, an expansion in your own evolution. With your evolution increased, with your evolution achieved, accomplished, more of power will come, more of ability will come, your level of consciousness will lift. Remember, all your glory, all your prosperity, all your ability is a direct consequence of your level of evolution. When you are lifting your level of evolution, more glorious you are becoming. And that you are achieving by giving some tidbits to others. What did you do after all? Even Buddha refers to it in his teachings. Buddha used to say, just donate a plate for people to keep their food upon and eat. In your next birth, you will get a lot of food. Just donate books. You will have tremendous brain power as a result of that. Donate some books. Donate a mat for people to sleep upon. You get good sleep. Getting good sleep is not an easy thing, especially when you are suffering from jet lag. I get my sleep at 2 o'clock in the night every day. I am still in that spell of jet lag. You may construct an air-conditioned room, but you can't do anything for getting good sleep. In India, there are people who take their food on silver plates and gold plates. But food they can't digest. They take their food on silver plates, but food cannot be digested. What is the use? So even Buddha made a reference all through our philosophy. We have not been theoretically oriented as far as the philosophy is concerned. That's why one of the savants from the West has said, the greatness of Vedanta philosophy is, it's both a philosophy and a religion at the same time. And according to Indian tradition, life is not different from religion. Life is not different from spirituality. Life and spiritual your spiritual life and your mundane life, they are one and the same. You know, the life of a Hindu is divided into 4 parts. Each part ends, name of each part ends with the word ashrama. The first part of your life is what? Brahmacharya ashrama. Second part is Grihastha ashrama. Vanaprastha ashrama. The word ashrama itself denotes a lot of things. Its connotation is such that you are doing some penance while you are still there as a brahmachari. You are into some rigorous penance even while you are there as a grihastha. And you are not away from any sort of a penance, even while you are there as a vanaprastha. Of course, when you are there as sannyasi, it's quite natural. So even while you are through the ordinary stages of your life, according to Hindu tradition, in some way you are into some sort of a penance. Life and spiritual exercises are no different according to Hindu tradition. So highest Vedantic dictum or Vedantic teaching that Atmopamyena Sarvatra Samam Pashyati Arjuna Sukham va idiva Dukkham Sayogi Paramamatha or Athamam Sarveshu Bhuteshu Bhutatmanam Krutanayam Arhaye Danamanabhyam Maitra Abhinyana Chakshusha or Natvaham Kamaye Rajyam Na Swargam Na Punarbhavam Kavaye Dukkhataptanam Praninam Artinasham. All these things ultimately distill down to the same point that learn to live through other bodies also. That is life. Otherwise stagnation. You are stagnant, you are stagnating, thereby curbing your own expansive mood, curbing thereby or putting an end to a process of evolution which otherwise would have easily achieved. So this is the message that India gives. One great Hindu philosopher who was a king earlier, later became a saint, Bhartrihari, you might have heard, who ruled India, central India, around Ujjain. Ujjain was his capital city. He was a hedonistic king, not simply materialistic, he was hedonistic. Therefore, when he was hedonistic in that phase of life, he has written a beautiful book of course, bearing the title Shrungara Shatakam. Shrungara Shatakam, because he was hedonistic. Later he wrote Niti Shatakam. His wife deserted him. He renounced everything, came to Ujjain, a great devotee of Shiva, selected some cave around Ujjain, went on meditating on Mahakala, later became an illumined personality. During this time, he wrote Vairagya Shatakam. From Shrungara Shatakam to Niti Shatakam to Vairagya Shatakam. In Niti Shatakam, he classifies or he puts India in some sort of a social strata. He prescribes one unit or one basis for social strata in India. He divides Indian society into 4 parts, not based on Varna or whatever it is. What is the basis or what is the philosophy that he has used for dividing this Indian society into 4 parts? I am going to elucidate before you. He says, Yete Satpurushaha, they are Satpurushas, the highest strata, social strata. Satpurushas. Yete Satpurushaha, Anartha Ghatakaha, Swarthan Paritejaye. They put themselves into miserable conditions in order to help others. They are the highest people, Satpurushas. They have no concern for their own well-being. They don't care for their own well-being, but they want always to preserve the well-being of others. For achieving the well-being for others, they are prepared to go to any number of times, any hell. Vivekananda used to say, I can go to 1,000 hells if by doing so, one man will be benefited. That sort of people. Yete Satpurushaha, Parartha Ghatakaha, Swartham Parityajaye. That is the highest socially put man. Samanyastu Parartham Ujjama Bhrataha, Swartham Avirodhaye. The next stage of people are, they also want to benefit others, but never at the cost of their own benefit, their own well-being. They don't want to help others at the cost of their own well-being. They don't disturb themselves for helping others. While the first category people, they don't care for their welfare. Any number of times they can damage their own interest so that others will be benefited thereby. They are that. Second category is Samanyastu. See, such people are Samanya. Temi Manusha Rakshasaha. Parahitam Swarthaya Nigdhantiye. There are human demons, Manusha Rakshasas, who never care for the welfare of others. They can damage, they can trouble anyone in any way, any number of times, whereby if they are benefited thereby, if their self-interest is upheld, it is served thereby. They are third category people called as human demons. Temi Manusha Rakshasa. Yetu Gnanti Nirarthakam Parahitam Tekena Jani Mahe. There are fourth category people who, for no benefit for themselves, they always want to trouble others. They have no benefit thereby. But still they can't bear others living happily. They can't see, they can't bear others living very happily. Though it doesn't give them anything personally, it doesn't benefit them personally in any way. They want to trouble others because they can't bear others living very happily. What sort of people are there? What sort of people they are? I have no name for them. I am not able to find any name for so wretched they are, so worst they are, so morally, totally damaged. They are gone. A devastation. Social devastation, ethical devastation, we can say. Moral devastation. I have no name for it. Nirarthakam parahitam tekina. This is how India has fixed up parameters, standards, etc. for the social strata. Beautiful. King defines this way. That means to say it becomes the law of the land. When king has got this definition means he can make it the law of the land. That's how India lived. In ancient times, that's how India lived. All said and done, please remember, if you think you are confined only to this body, it's a delusion. You are not what you think yourself. You are Atman that has no boundary, neither physiological boundary, nor psychological boundary, nor geographical boundary, nor in the national boundary, language boundary. No boundary is there for the Atman because it is Sarva Vyapihi. And the Atman in you is the same Atman everywhere. Whether you want it or not, whether you like it or not, whether you accept it or not, one day you have to seek your life, your succor, your strength, everything at the level of Atman, keeping aside all other parameters. Your physiology, your biology, your sociology, your aristocracy, your nationality, everything will have to be thrown away and you have to re-establish yourself at the level of your Atman, whereupon your life will start carving a meaning for itself, but not till then. Friends, it's time. I think I must conclude. Thank you so much for a patient hearing. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. Yeah, if it is there.
If anyone has any questions,
Yeah, any question, please, free to ask.
5 to 10 minutes we can take.
Yes. I think they want some preparation in the kitchen today, please. As much as possible, please ask your questions in Indian accent. That is one problem I am facing on the soil of America. You can ask in Kannada, Telugu.
You just described about the four kinds of individuals, wherein the first one is the one who
Yes.
doesn't think about himself but thinks about the rest of the people.
Yes.
I consider myself as the second category. Why should I even think about becoming or moving myself to the first category when this itself, and I there are hardly any individuals like Swami Vivekananda or Ramakrishna ji who belong to that top level category. I mean, not that
It is not at all a compulsion on you.
No. That's not my question. It's not a compulsion, and we understand that nobody can.
You are
force-
questioning the rationale behind that?
Yeah, I mean, when this life, if I'm becoming an individual, I help myself, and once I become content, self-sufficient among ourselves, that's when you have the ability to step out and then help others, right? What's wrong in being number two?
Nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong. But remember, these are all verified values. People that verified, they have come to this conclusion. So when something has been accepted based on series of verifications, I think there must be some rationale behind it. When it is up to the individuality to accept it or not, that's a different thing. You need not. After all, you are not harming anyone. That itself is something great on your part. Enough. That's really enough. You need not accept this philosophy either. I don't accept this philosophy of social strata. Fine, no problem. No problem. If you say you belong to the third category, it would have pained me a little. You say you belong to the second category, wonderful. Keep it. Fine, that's a good thing. No problem. Yes.
Again, the question is not really about questioning the philosophy, Guruji.
Okay, I came to know. What else I can say? This is all I can say, is it? This is all. It's a verified value. Neither I manufactured this, nor I got copied from any book or anything of that. Vivekananda says, please accept, please know. Anything of Indian origin, you first accept and then verify. This is Swamiji's utterance. While addressing his Madras disciples before he left for America, Vivekananda has clearly seen no ambiguous terms. Anything of Indian origin, you first accept and then verify. Anything of Western origin, you first verify and then accept. So these are the basis upon which we people boldly say all these things. Boldly I proclaim all this philosophy before you, as though none can dispute me. People may dispute. No problem, it's welcome. As I said, questioning is the order of the day in Upanishadic philosophy, isn't it? Even questioning is not anything that I can raise an objection for that. Absolutely not. I am happy that you are in tune with Upanishadic law, that you are questioning it. Fine. Beautiful.
But that's not my question, Guruji. The
Yeah,
question, my
I told
question
you.
is,
Yeah,
we are basically number two.
Understood.
So
I
the
understood.
point is, when we ourselves cannot confine or look at people within our home, let's say as an example, how are we in a position to look at others?
Okay, yes. You first of all you have to take care of your family. No compromise about it. You can't neglect your family and try to transform the whole world outside. It's possible for Buddha like Vivekananda like people. For me and you it is not possible. For all others, we may try to be such, but perhaps we may enter into regrets after some time. Many people have suffered like that. In a fist of emotion, they took some big decisions in life, went out, left everything behind, and they could not digest that high ideal in life either, came back, and they ultimately resulted in neither here nor there. That's worst thing. First you have to take care of your family. I have no doubt about that. Take care of your family first. Charity should begin at home.
Didn't you say that in the beginning, the answer to this question? Like if you don't help others, so don't go beyond yourself, then you will not progress.
Okay, what to do? It is so. That's true. See, the highest level of your existence must be remaining in Vishwamanava. Right now, am I able to do it? How many are able to do it? No, but at the same time, I cannot bring the highest ideal down to the level of all the ordinary lot in order to make it. This is the point that Vivekananda refers to in his lectures in Practical Vedanta. Because all cannot lift themselves to the highest level, we can't bring the ideal itself down to their level. Rather, that is where the beauty of Hinduism lies. We have stratified, phased manner. We have a ladder. We have a ladder to climb upon. See, but the Vyasa, who composed Mahabharata, who composed Brahma Sutra, most subtle and very abstract thing, he himself composed Puranas also. Puranas appear like kindergarten stories. But Brahma Sutra appears like the most abstract philosophy one can ever come across or imagine in his life. But the same person did that for the reason he knew, he was aware of different levels of ability to understand things. Even though the aim of a boy is to become a doctorate holder, but he has to go through kindergarten, primary, high school and all that. He has to, but kindergarten is not his aim, but he has to go through. So like that, there are various strata. Every conversion, every transformation is always stratified. Every transformation is a transition, and every transition is stratified.
Is there a test or maybe a litmus test kind of a thing to know in which category you fall in those four?
Me?
No, for us, for an individual. If you
Of course, you see your natural instincts. You see your natural instincts. Presently, may be anything. Oh, you may become astounded at seeing, oh, am I at such a low level? Fine. Doesn't matter. You may be at that low, but everything is in your own hand. With a firm willpower, lift yourself up. What an amount of unbelievable transformation has taken place in the life of so many people around. Who was Valmiki earlier? What was Valmiki earlier? What was Vishwamitra earlier? But what was Vemana? People of Andhra Pradesh background. Who was Vemana earlier? how unbelievable transformations took place in their life, because they were so particular about, they became ashamed of their present status, became hell bent upon bringing about the transformation they wanted, and they did bring it about.
Swamiji, I have a question.
Please.
So, how can we practice Vairagya being in Grihastha ashram?
There are some books, Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and Eternal Companion by Swami Brahmanand. There are some Ramakrishna Mission publications about meditation and all that. As you go through them and try to contemplate, reflect upon the contents that you find in the book, and if you practice some japam, you have any initiation that you have already, that has taken place in your life, take a mantra. If that is not so, take some mantra from a guru whom you revere, repeat that mantra, study of scriptures, japam, and silent prayer to your Lord that you want to develop Vairagya mentality. Within a few months or 1 or 2 years, you get it.
So, how do you define it, Vairagya? When I will understand
That Vairagya means losing interest in mediocre life and trying to catch hold of the highest dimensions of your own possibilities. Vairagya has to come, and Vairagya is welcome, because you are sacrificing finite things in order to catch hold of the infinity. What's wrong in that? And you can't hold both infinite and finite together simultaneously. You may perhaps, that's a Herculean task, very strenuous. When infinity includes finity, why bother about finite?
So if I
Please.
get, sorry,
If it's continuation, you can ask.
Okay.
no, it's not.
So you said Atma is everywhere, but this is something you have to experience, right? Otherwise, just a theory or philosophy.
Yeah. See, sameness, it's being everywhere you can experience even while you are in your deep sleep. When you are in your deep sleep, you have forgotten, you have left out all your present biodata. You are Mr. So-and-so, hailing from such and such a place, son of such and such a person, husband of somebody, father of some people, like that. You have your own biodata, some parameters to identify yourself. When you are in deep sleep, your consciousness has shed all these things aside and it's enjoying its own existence. Your deep sleep and my deep sleep are not different, because in this phase of deep sleep, we two are one and the same. If you say, I dreamt, I will ask you, what is it that you did dream? But when you say, I was fast asleep, I don't ask you at all any question. How was your being fast asleep? Because your being fast asleep and my being fast asleep are one and the same. That is the threshold of Atman consciousness. Deep sleep state is the threshold of Atman consciousness. There itself, we feel one and the same. And when you move on to the Atman level of consciousness, there will be infinity. You are through infinite bodies. Your joy is infinite, your knowledge is infinite. And we cannot express in any language how the experience will be. There is no expression, but there is experience. Because that is an experience which no language, Taittiriya Upanishad says, Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. The speech returned back. Even manas returned back. It could not give an explanation for that. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. Anandam brahmano vidvan. Full of bliss. Full because you are complete. Your knowledge is complete. Your existence is unthreatened. You have absolute knowledge. You are everywhere. You know everything. It is a blissful state which we can never explain, but we can go by the experience of the people that did experience, and thereby only we have to accept their experiences as our own. And when you experience, you find a striking resemblance between your own experience and the experience of others. As I said, deep sleep and Atman consciousness are these two states where experience is absolutely unified. There is no difference. That's why whether he is a Sufi mystic or Islam mystic, a Christian mystic, Hindu mystic, their experiences are all same. Saint Teresa, not Mother Teresa, Saint Teresa, Saint Francis of Assisi, and Saint Augustine, Tukaram, Tyagaraja, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and coming to Islamic background, that Rabaya, Jalaluddin, Ruby. All these people, when they have described the mystical experiences, you will see a striking resemblance. At mystical level, there is no religion. There is core spirituality.
But even though that it's the same deep sleep, you still, as you said, you can explain it, you cannot experience it.
You-
Even in deep sleep.
Yeah, even deep sleep. Well, how do you explain? I never knew anything. This is all the explanation. I never knew anything. I was so happy. I never knew anything. When you never know anything, you'll be very happy. Even in realistic terms, there is bliss of ignorance. So Atmans, when you are at the Atman level of your consciousness, it's a blissful state which no language can ever explain. No language in this way. That is why anything that is contained in the language is lower knowledge. Apparently, even Vedas are lower knowledge. They are not higher knowledge. Higher knowledge has no literature. It has no expression.
In the current society, it's extremely important, and at the same time, it's most difficult to get rid of materialistic things in life, especially because you have to follow your society, and the society defines you. To one of the follow-up question where she said, "Can I experience vairagya being in Gruhasthashrama?" Getting rid of materialistic things, will that help, or can that be considered as a
See, one
professional
thing,
vairagya?
we cannot generalize like that. We cannot. Siddhartha could not live in the palatial luxuries even for a moment. Even today, there are students, young people in Bangalore who cannot stay back in their home for a day more, even though they have been rank students all through their life. I have seen IAS boys giving up everything and joining monastic level orders. I have seen MD doctors joining Ramakrishna order who have been gold medalists all through. They say, I cannot live in this house one day more. It's all individualist. We cannot generalize. Okay, fine. If you can't live, well, carry on. No problem. But we cannot generalize. There are. Maybe number is very few, but there are.
I have a question. So I joined a little late, so I might be misinterpreting what you said. But so you were talking about how there's like 4 different levels, like he was also mentioning. So my only question about that is, if you put yourself like in a level, are you not identifying or self-identifying too much with a label, and does that kind of limit you? Like thinking like, oh, I'm level at the first level or the second level. Like I feel like that label kind of limits you a little bit.
Naturally, you belong to some level. Right now, honestly speaking, you know where you belong to.
Yeah.
Can you lift yourself up to higher level? If you cannot, okay, wait for the time. Time will come.
Yeah, I was asking this because naturally I don't like putting too much labels on myself, like, oh, I'm like this or I'm like that, because I know that I can change at any moment and I can be different. So I was saying
See,
something.
this is a universal law. Howsoever you are adamant that you have to stick to your own level, a time will come where you have to actually leave everything ruthlessly aside and lift yourself to the higher level. Nature is mercilessly affecting its law of evolution on every being. Amoeba cannot remain amoeba at all. When the time comes, nature, it lifts to the multicellular organism, to the level of that. Like that, from plant kingdom, they come to animal kingdom, from there to human level, and within human sphere itself, you have to lift, you have to climb the ladder. It's impossible for you that you can stick to one level. It is nature's law. You can never go against that. If you want nature itself to work out all those things upon you, and you do not want to do anything deliberately, fine, it will do. But what do you lose if you deliberately initiate all these processes from your own side and try to lift yourself up? There is nothing that you are going to learn. You will only gain so many things. But conviction must come. till that conviction dawns upon you, you cannot do it either honestly. Wait for the conviction, fine. Conviction may come to you only after every person who had rejected some principles at the early stages of life had to stick to those principles after some time. They had to come to the adherence of those principles and they had to change their style of life. They had to change themselves. They had to bring about metamorphic change. We cannot be adamant as far as certain laws of nature are concerned. It will bring about the change that it wants. If you deliberately open up yourself for the laws to be affected upon you, well, there won't be friction. Otherwise, frictions will come. Why difficulties are coming in life? We are defying nature's laws. Nature has a scheme to work upon us. We are defying it. Therefore, it gives us kicks. Had we been opened up ourselves for its laws to be worked out upon us, perhaps the friction would not have come. We want to stick to something and nature wants to pluck away that very thing away from us. This is where friction comes. Surrender. So all these things ultimately termed as surrenderance, total surrenderance. Krishna puts in Bhagavad, that is the last. You have to bow to it. You have to bow to it. Surrender. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. You have to come to me. That what is Krishna here? Infinitude. Here Krishna is not a person. You have to give up all finites and you have to come to me. Infinitude is saying. Infinity is asking you, one day you have to give up all finites and you have to come to me. What do you lose by coming to me? Because all finites are in me. All finites put together will not be a fraction of what I am. Million finites, billion, trillion finites will not be a fraction of infinite. What do you lose? He puts that question also.
In the process of uplifting ourselves, what if if we put through ourselves through hell or difficulties, isn't it an obstacle to the lifting process, uplifting process?
You are putting yourself to the hell for the reason I tell you, you are a ship and you want to be sailing in a stream. You are a ship and you are vehement, you are adamant that you have to course your journey through a stream. You are a ship. You don't know what you are. Put yourself in an ocean. There won't be any sort of problem with you. The human problems, remember, any number of times, if you are an intelligent man, if you are an educated man, and if you still suffer so many things, that means to say, you are not interested to put yourself in a larger domain. You want to stick to the little things that you are very much interested in. Your personal whims and fancy doesn't allow you to tear apart all these things and fly into the limitless horizons that are waiting for you to give a shelter to. Most of the times it is so. That's what yesterday I termed as aham, I think which you heard. This aham is our adamance that we want to stick to our own things. And there has to be a transition from aham to atma. The truth about you is atma, and the present state that you want to stick to is aham. There is a clash between, you have to, going by your karma and all that, nature's scheme that is being worked upon you is such that you have to leave your aham level and lift yourself up to the level of atman. At least you have to initiate the journey which you are not prepared for. You want to stick to. Then what should nature do? When children are not prepared to go to school, they want to still be playing only. What does mother do? She gives a hit and drags them to the school. That's what is happening in our case. And nature, Mother Nature giving us hits and dragging us towards the school, we call as so many difficulties came in our life. See, Buddha wanted to find out a solution for death. Did he really find out any solution? Not at all. When Kisa Gautami came with the dead body of her son, did he bring life into the boy? He never said, go and bring some mustard from a house where nobody has died. So, what all that is taking place in this world, they continue to take place. Your attitude has to change. What we call as Jivatman also is just an attitude. Jivatman is not a being. It is not even a gross entity. It is just an attitude. Your body is very much there even after death. Some elaboration is required for making this point clear.
So in that process, right, so how the Moa plays into the Moa, right? So because as a human being, we have responsibilities,
Therefore, basically, fundamentally, right at the beginning, you must aim at the highest. Buddha wanted to bring it into practice. You know, in Buddhistic circles, first the boys are given saffron color, saffron cloth. Right in the beginning itself, when he's a boy of 10 years, he is given saffron cloth. If he finds life pertaining to saffron cloth is not possible for him, then he removes the cloth, comes back and leads ordinary life. But your aim should be always to aim at the highest.
Right. But as a normal human being, right? So when we grow up in the responsibilities,
Yes.
the more also comes along with that. So how do we take that more on certain things? The more how do we take that aside and build our path?
Moha is a bad thing. Having known that it is bad, why do you want to entertain it anymore?
With the
Moha is very bad.
Could be on anything.
Whatever it is, any sort of moha is bad. Except moha towards love, infinity.
Okay.
Love, attraction towards infinity, love for infinity is the only love that is justified. Only attachment that is justified. No other attachment is a bondage. Attachment to infinity is the only attachment that is entertained, that is justifiable. So clear, you know, why do you want to stick to finite, howsoever attractive it may be? It's really a product of our ignorance. Finite is finite. Why upon that? Then that's where we want to convert finity itself into infinity and enjoy that, because we are so much attached to finite now, which is impossible. Tyagena ekena amrutatva manusho. Sacrificing finite is the only way. Na karmana. See, all your questions are answered there. Mahanarayana Upanishad says, na karmana, na prajaya, your children you are attached to. Na karmana, your profession you are attached to. Na karmana, na prajaya, na dhanena, your wealth. Tyagena ekena amrutatva manusho. Throw away all these things, because they are all finite. Whatever growth you may effect upon finite, it can never become infinite. Leaving aside finite is the only way. Tyagena ekena amrutatva manusho. Yeah, last question.
I have a comment, not the question.
Yeah.
So, is it correct to say that we have lost, like ancient India, you give example, that we lost the way of Jivan Vidya, how to live life?
Absolutely.
What we are learning is just an engineer and doctors
Yes.
and
Absolutely, absolutely.
What-
In ancient India, they used to train up the ability to understand the things. Merely just by grasping a thing, he would see, he would penetrate, his intellect would penetrate into all mysteries pertaining to that particular phenomenon, and he would come out with the whole truth deciphered. Big Bang theory was known to them, you see. Today's quantum physics is finding its final answer there in Indian philosophy, you see. How would they know? How would they know? They had no instruments. Either without instruments they were able to know. Then where did they study all those things at? Because they knew the macrocosm outside is same as the microcosm. They studied the microcosm and every interpretation of them went absolutely right. Not a semblance of defect whatsoever. And there was nothing that was lacking to fullest information they brought about. Only thing is, we did not bring the practical application of all those things. They remained theoretical, and therefore perhaps people did not evince any interest with the march of time. The posterity did not show any interest to revive the same thing to the dimension that it really deserved. Shall we conclude? Yes.
One last question.
Yes.
So you said like Tyagena ekena amrutatvam, like we got only through Tyaga, but we are all in the samsara.
Right now you need not do anything.
So then what is the result for all of us? Like
Yaga is you have sacrificed some time, 1 hour you sacrificed, sat before me.
So
That yaga is enough just now.
just I wanted you to answer that question,
Yeah.
elaborate on that.
Please, you don't do any tyaga. If you do tyaga, there won't be any scope for me to come and talk to you. Om. What is the Mangalam we can say? Sahana bhavatu, sahana bhunaktu, sahabhiryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om ಶ್ರೀರಾಮಕೃಷ್ಣಾರ್ಪಣಮಸ್ತು ಶ್ರೀ ಶಾರದಾ ದೇವಿ ಸಮರ್ಪಿತಮಸ್ತು.
ಆರತಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರ ಆರತಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರ
ಮಾಡಿ ಮಾಡಿ
ನೀವು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಕಣೆ?
ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
ಯಾವ ಬೇಡ ಹಾಡು
ನಾನು ಹಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನೀವೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನೀವೇ ಮಾಡಿ, ನಾನು ಹಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
ಆರತಿ
ಭಾರತ ರಾಮಕುಮಾರ್.